Hey everybody, Poker Dad here. So right now I'm going to be looking over the last session I was able to upload onto from Ignition. I was able to upload onto Poker Tracker. The hand histories usually aren't available until 24 hours after you've played. So it takes like a day or so for me to be able to review a session. The way I'd like to. I mean, of course, I could use Drive HUD, but I just don't. I don't really love the Drive HUD interface for actual poker tracking. It's just good for use of HUD and just to kind of see where I am on a particular session for Ignition. That's just why I ended up purchasing Poker Tracker and also the Ignition hand converter. So anyway, this particular session, which was played on February 17th, was down a little bit over $7. It's a combination of um, mostly zone with some regular cash table in there as well. So I'm just going to look over it and just see exactly what happened. I'm actually hiding everybody else's cards on here until potential showdown and the end of the hand. So let's take a look here. And of course, I'm putting everything in BB. I like to be able to review it in BB format instead of actual money format. So let's see here on, and I've sorted it by biggest losses to biggest wins. So let's see here. I am in the big blind with ace queen offsuit. And let's see, we get a bet here from the cutoff of 3.4 big blinds. And I do decide to 3-bet it here. Now, actually, I want to punch up. Just want to take a look at what my upswing info would say. I'm not going to put it on screen just because it's a paid service and I don't want to give away anything from a paid service like Upswing. But I don't mind talking about it, of course, and seeing what they would say to do here. Which I have a feeling. I mean, honestly, you don't even need Upswing to know that really I should be flatting here in this spot with Ace Queen offsuit and not 3-betting, especially with Villain 1 and Villain 2 folding. I think if Villain 1 and Villain 2 here had especially the small blind, more so than the button. If the small blind would have called here, then the 3-bet might have made a little more sense to make it a heads up pot. But here, with it just being versus the cutoff, I do think that I could have just flatted here. So I think this could have been a mistake here. Give me 1 second. I just want to pull up the ranges real quick. I'm not so prepared for this video. I'm sorry. Because I was doing something and then I wanted to dive into this here. So let's see. He is in the cutoff, and I'm in the big blind. So it's optional. I could raise it or flat it. So I think the optionality there would be to would definitely be to flat it in this spot where there is nobody calling in between, especially the small blind, and to raise it if the small blind were there. So I think I should have just flatted this here. And of course he calls, and the flop I do get top pair. Um, so this is something that, especially at zone, and this hand was played at zone, I'm going to be kind of getting away from. I started last night in I had a nice winning session last night, where I didn't bet out of position too often, including C betting, and it helped because it helped induce some bluffs. So I think here, first of all, I don't, for whatever reason in this session, I was pot size betting it, and so that was spewing away some money on some losing hands, like this one will end up being. Um, I think what I could have done here is, if I wanted to bet a little bit lighter, especially bet half pot in a 3-bet pot here. So this was just kind of ridiculous and just really so bad. I could have easily just checked this off here, or at the very least, if anything, bet half pot. This is just kind of ridiculous here. And my opponent does call me, and now we do have a flush draw. Now I do decide to check it off to him, and he checks back here. And the 10 comes out. So the 10 comes out, and I'm feeling like I'm ahead at this point. I now this time I put out a much lower bet, which, if anything, is showing weakness. After I just did a pot size bet, now I'm showing weakness with a with this bet. So that this doesn't really make much sense. Plus, in a way, I've almost taken a flush and a straight out of my range by doing this. So many things I did wrong here. Where now, you know, the villain here decides to shove me all in. And yeah, I mean, what he's not worried about anything, and I'll show you what he had, and we can. He had here an ace king. So when we think about what happened here, first of all, the pot size bet was wrong. It should have been at least a minimum size bet. I just read something, and sometimes I don't know. This was definitely something. The more I do these videos, the more it's going to help my play in the long run. And seeing things like this, after reading a post about somebody who said that on Zoom on Zone they like to just pot bet it. I don't think that's really the right way to do it. And I tried it, and it didn't really work out so well. So anyway, on this turn, what am I doing? When I pot size bet here, then on the turn I checked it. In a way, I'm kind of saying, oh, I'm bluffing. And then what ends up happening is then on the river, I put up this super light bet. I think if anything, the river, I want to pot it again since I did pot it already, and maybe induce a fold from the ace king, and but I didn't make him believe I had a flush. I didn't make him believe I had anything really. So when he shoves me here, he's shoving because he knows he's shoving for value. And of course, on the shove, I definitely had to fold my ace, which definitely was the right play. That's the only right play that I made here in this particular hand. In fact, what I'd like to do, let me just open up Snowy real quick. I want to see what Snowy thinks about how I played this hand. Snowy might yell at me. Where's Poker Snowy? Where are you? Let's take a look. One second. Just loading up Snowy here. So here is Poker Snowy, and let's click the import button and get that hand that I just saved. Yeah, look at that. Does that tell you? This is just one hand too. So let's see. So Snowy agrees with the raise. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So Snowy says here that I should definitely be checking in this spot. And like I said, I agree. I really should be checking in this spot. I mean, if anything, bet smaller. But Snowy says if I'm going to bet, I need to bet smaller here. But checking would have been the right play. And then he would have bet, and if he would have done something, crazy like shove, then I would have had a decision to make. Maybe it could have gotten out of the hand pretty cheap. So this check was the right play, of course. And again, Snowy says I should definitely be checking here. And the fold was the right play. So, yeah, I mean, just like I analyzed it before even looking at Snowy, yeah, I definitely played that hand very bad. Let's take a look at the next hand here. So here we got Jack 10. This is yeah, still fast fold. I'll let you know if it's not fast fold. I know it's fast fold just because I can see the HUDs, and the HUDs are showing the career statistics, and the career statistics of here would be oh, I know of here, fast fold. There you go. Duh. Okay. So Under the Gun opens it, so we know that Under the Gun usually is going to have a pretty tight range. Just show you quickly what I feel an Under the Gun range looks like at this particular, based on my population reads here. So they have the Under the Gun has a PFR of 16, which should be the same thing as their raise first in. Yeah, because they're always going to be the first in. So this is what the range looks like that would be opening up in that spot. So I mean, all your Broadways and all your pairs and stuff like that, Ace Nine suited, these some sometimes. So this is give or take a little bit. This is what a 16% range looks like. That would be opening up here. And we get a call from the cutoff. So from the cutoff, let's look at what a cutoff range might look like here. We can take this 26. It's going to be easy to do too. Let me open up Equilab. Equilab's just a little bit easier to do something like this with. Let me take first the opening range of the Under the Gun. And now let me see the, let's see, it's 26 and 5. So 26 VPIP. Give and take a little bit. And 5 3-bet. Give and take a little bit. So this is what our range would look like for the cutoff opening. Right, it was the cutoff, right? Yeah, the cutoff, and I mean the cutoff calling range here. This is what their range pretty much will look like around here. So let's add that in. And let's take a look here. What happens next? And then I am going to call here with my 10 Jack. And just for the fun of it, what is my 10 Jack calling range looking like here? Well, I'm going to use what I know I was using at the time. Since then I've gone back to my upswing ranges, just because I wanted to get into more spots and play more post flop. Since it really still is, practice, even though it's practice, but I want to win too and go up the stakes. But I think they'll work hand in hand. I trust the process, and sometimes I've been getting too worried about the results. So let's see, my range here versus the Under the Gun in the big blind is going to be, going to take out these hands. These hands I wouldn't be calling. So this is what my wait, hang on. This is what, when I played this particular hand, what my calling range would look like versus Under the Gun. So let me just put that in here. So let's just take a quick look. Oh, I guess without yeah, without anything in the flop, it just would take forever. But I mean, it's pretty apparent. You can just easily see you know, that obviously the best range here is going to be the under the gun range because it's the tightest range here. All right, so let's take a look what happens next. Multi-way pot. So I have a flush draw, which is pretty nice. So let's take a look now when we throw in ace of hearts, two of hearts, and eight of clubs. It's a lot harder with the it's a lot harder with multi-way doing this. It'll be more clear when somebody drops out here. But I mean, it's gonna be pretty balanced, I guess. The one thing about multi-way pots is equity goes down for everybody in the multi-way pot, and that's one of those things. I think I've mentioned this before, and I read I've read some rules on this with regard to multi-way pots that and in my research and my studies of multi-way pots is that although the pot odds are better, your equity is worse, which makes in certain situations calling worse. Um, so it's an interesting thing to think about that although you think, oh well, I'm getting great pot odds, I might as well call, your equity goes down in a multi-way pot, which maybe at times makes the call maybe not so not such a great call. And in this situation here, where you have this guy opening with 3.4, it actually makes it even worse to call here. So even though Jack 10 is it is a nice suited connector to have, um, it may not be the best hand to call with. But actually, to be honest with you, Jack 10 suited is a better hand to call with than something like 8-8 or 9-9 or something like that. You're still better off having some kind of connected hand that can make a straight or a flush than a pair, which is pretty limited on what it really can do because you're only always going to have two outs to improve. So that's why it's actually better if you're going to call in these situations. It's going to be multi-way pots that the hands are going to have some kind of connectivity to be able to make a straight or a flush. And that's just I just learned that by reading something from in Upswing. And by the way, I don't work for Upswing. I'm just a member, but I highly recommend it. It's definitely changed my game a lot. And I know I've been struggling, and part of the reason why I've been struggling is because taking what I knew and taking what I known and mixing strategies has been kind of difficult for me. But I feel very confident in the process, and just making certain adjustments to the games I'm playing. So we'll see what happens. Anyway. Enough of my blabbering here. So here I check it off, obviously out of position. That's going to be the right play. And you get a little bit over a half pot bet from villain number 3. So this is something that I don't like. And I think I don't. I think I should be flatting here. And I'll take a look at this in Snow 8 right afterwards. But let's take a look. Okay, let's get rid of Cutoff now. He's out of the picture. My equity is not bad here at 47.89%. And I'm getting 27% pot odds to call. I think calling is really the best bet here. I don't think raising is the right play. And again, this is just an issue of my strategies kind of getting mixed up here. Because when I raise it here, now I'm taking all of his bluffs out of here, out of this, and just trying to get him to fold. And let's think about it. He's in the under the gun. He has a super tight range. Not only that, but he decided to throw out a little bit over a half pot bet in a multi-way pot where we still don't know what villain 5 is going to do, and I still have to react to. So his bet is really more of a stronger bet. So for me to be raising here, if he was bluffing, he's going to fold, and if he wasn't bluffing, he's going to call. So there really is no purpose in me raising here, and I think this is actually a really bad raise for that reason. and of course he's going to call. And a 3 comes out, which really, that's not a card I want to see. But I mean, really, the only card I want to see is a heart. A jack will do nothing for me. A 10 will do nothing for me. In fact, those will probably lower my equity. In fact, let's just take a look, because this is what I'm thinking. First of all, let's look at the 3 of clubs. So the 3 of clubs actually does help my equity a little bit, just because I would have more threes. And I know I'm not taking out cards based on what I would have done, and all of that. Just looking at just the ranges in general, which actually may make this process probably not. In fact, actually, you know what? Let's forget about my range for a second. I want to look over at Flopzilla and just look at my hand in general, which is Jack of Hearts and 10 of Hearts versus his range. And let's just do some removal here. So let's see, Ace of Hearts, 2 of Hearts. I'm just doing it this way because I don't feel like opening up another Flopzilla and doing range versus range in here with card removal. I can even just figure it out on here and then just transfer it over if I want to do it really quick. So let's see. What is he calling? Let's think about what he would be calling with here. When I do that raise into him, he'd be calling with a set. He'd be calling me with top pair. Is he calling me with pocket pair below top pair? I think he could, like, these hands right here. Could be queen queen, king king, queen queen is possible. Jack jack. These hands calling the raise, maybe the 10-10 and 9-9. I don't think so. Middle pairs aren't, weak pairs aren't, no made hands aren't. I don't think draws are not going to draws aren't going to call that raise. So if he was bluffing with a flush draw, I just took that out of his range. Open-ended straight draw. All of these hands I've taken out of his range by doing that raise. So look what it looks like now. And you can see my equity versus that is really, really poor. Yeah, at this point here, I've just really put myself in a situation where I'm just kind of crushed. So let me just take this and move this over to Equilab. And let's see what I did with my range by doing this. Okay. Let's just go and take a look at my range now. I didn't mean to clear this. That was my fault. Ace of Hearts, 2 of Hearts, 8 of Clubs. All right. So what kind of hands would I be raising with? A set, 2 pair. The only hand here that I would think of raising with is Ace Queen. And again, I really should not be raising with anything. I feel like anything less than like a set, and even a set I could call it. But a set I could see raising on this board with the hearts already being out there for protection in a way, and to get him off of any draws. Because the set still is a really strong hand that I can get value from. Same thing with 2 pair. 2 pair I could raise here. Top pair, I really don't think I should be, even Ace Queen offsuit, I don't think I should be raising really. But for the sake of this activity, I could say maybe sometimes I would raise it, maybe sometimes I wouldn't. These particular hands here, of course, I wouldn't be raising with here, so I'd be raising, here with some flush draws, which I don't think I should be doing in this particular case, in this particular situation. Open-ender, gut shot. So I could just put this here as my so this right here I can put as my range. And I'm just more thinking so of like my thought process for this particular hand. So today, if I was going to play this hand, the only hands that I'm raising with is the ace eight is suited, ace eight, the ace two, the eight, and the two are the only hands that I should be raising in the spot here. Um, and I think the other hands I'm probably going to just call. I'm really trying not to be bluffy here. Um, especially a hand like Jack 10 suited. I just don't think it's the right play because I'm taking the bluffs out of his range. Um, and if I'm going to bluff, maybe if I bluff a little bit smaller, um, could be the right play as well. So I'm not really entirely sure. The more I think about it, the more I'm kind of questioning, you know, if I should just be calling here and then giving up on the turn when I don't get my flush, just because it's the cheaper way out. Um, but in this spot here, I got to think about the fact that he he bet in a multi-way pot, which is showing strength. So a raise likely is not going to get him off of the hand anyway. So a call is probably the best bet. I'm not going to fold, obviously, but a call might be the best bet here. But let's just take a look at the equity between my raising range and his calling range. Let's just get rid of this for now. So my equity is actually still higher, which is just another, and these are the hands also that I would I would continue with all my aces, right? So I would definitely continue with all my aces. So let's just take a look real quick. If I were to call this instead of what hands would I call with? I would call with this instead of raising. I would call with the middle pair. The weak pair, I might not. I'm just going to say for now, I may fold less than an 8 here. And I'm going to call my flush draws. I would call any open enders, which I don't have. I would call my gut shot. What are we missing here? Why are these other... Oh. Let's take this off. Alright, so these are the hands here that I would call with. Let's see what my equity looks like then. So the whole point is, even though, like, regardless of the equity here, is raising it. So my equity, even with just those specific hands that I would raise, is good based on his range, but I'm folding out all of his bad hands, all of his bluffs. And we want to keep those bluffs in there. Because I just want to see. All right, so let's take a look at this, right? All right, and we'll put his bluffs back in. Let's put his bluffs back in now. Let's go back. I don't have his freaking range anymore. All right, well, what was it? We said it was 16%. So 16%. So let's just see. Okay, now let's just take a look at the hands that he is calling with. I mean, that he's opening the betting with. He's opening the betting with sets, with top pair. He could be opening with pocket pair below top pair because he was leading out. I don't think he'd be opening with weak pair. No made hands, of course not. So now here he could definitely be bluffing with a flush draw. So we keep these hands in his range, even a gut shot. So all that stuff he can now be betting. So look at his range now. Okay, let's just compare his range here. look at his range when I don't raise and when I raise. So when I don't raise, his range has got all of these cards, all these flush draws, all these bluffs in there, some lower pocket pairs as well that he would that I'm not folding out. But when I raise, I'm folding out some of these a bunch of these other hands that I really don't want to be folding out. So let's just take a quick look at the equity here. So my equity is now lower in this spot here. But again, he has so many more bluffs that then on a later street, we have the opportunity to still win this hand. Right now, we've put ourselves in a really, really tough spot. We've bet much more money than we need to put into this pot here. And then when the 3 of clubs comes out, now if we didn't, it would almost be a 50-50 split here. So instead of it, being a 50-50 split, at the other point, we're in kind of trouble here. So what do we do next? So I check it off, and he bets half pot into me. And see, this is also the other problem now with this. Is now I've put myself into the situation, okay, where, and I don't know if I can get the other ranges back. I can't. I put myself in this situation where now I'm almost pot committed here into this pot by raising it on the flop. So I've made his range stronger by raising. And now I'm stuck in a situation where I'm calling, trying to get the flush to justify the raise, because now it becomes like a thing like, well, now I have to try and get the flush because I raised him so big and he called me. I mean, let's see, that raise. I mean, look how big this raise is here. This is a gigantic raise I put onto him. And when he calls it, now I'm just in such a tough spot because now I've committed so much to the pot already. It's like I'm pot committed now. Now I'm really just in a really tough spot. And his range is stronger now. And I'm really kind of screwed. And then a 10 comes out. And he does decide to check behind on this one, probably because of the flush draw there. Probably because now there's a potential flush out on there. So here he had an ace. Did I have ace jack offsuit in this? Probably. Yeah. And I believe I had ace jack offsuit in his stronger range too, and I took out, because we kept top pair in there. So by raising it here, I just put myself in an incredibly difficult spot. If I just call him here, and now we go check and he bets, I can make a decision on whether I want to continue with the flush or fold it. And I could really fold it right there. Let me punch up my spreadsheet here. And I'll tell you why. Bear with me 1 second as my spreadsheet loads up. So we got 9 outs on the turn. So 9 outs means that unless I'm getting about 18% or less of pot odds, which obviously in this situation I wasn't, in most situations I wouldn't, really I should be folding on the turn to most bets on the draw. So that's something that I need to think about. So we think about what happened and how much money I spewed off here by raising it and then calling the turn, which I shouldn't have done. So I shouldn't have raised it, and I shouldn't have called the turn. So, at minimum on this hand here, I should have lost the the original raise, which was which was 3.4 plus 6.2. So 3.4 plus 6.2. So 9.6 big blinds is all I should have lost in this hand. Instead, I lost so much more because, let's see, I started the hand with 120.4, and at the end of the hand, I had 51.4. So 72 big blinds I lost in this hand the way I played it. So keep that in mind. This is a great lesson on how not to play a hand. Good stuff. Good stuff. I don't even have to put this one in snow to know what the hell to look at here. All right, next up we have Jack 10 offsuit here in the button. And this right here is this is a regular table. This isn't fast fold. So of course I'm going to raise it up, Jack 10 offsuit. And here we get a 3-bet from a deep stack player to 234.20 big blinds. So this is about it's really not a big 3-bet at all, actually. So I'm going to be in position here. I don't think this is the worst thing to actually call here. Let's see. Let me look at my charts. Well, Jack 10 offsuit, my charts are saying that this is something I should actually fold. But I did call it. And I think I probably called it more so because of the amount of the raise. I just want to see what it was money-wise. 37 cents. So, I mean, it's a really small 3-bet. But, the range of a 3-bet, this one's a little bit tougher because of the fact I only have 38 hands on the guy, but also this guy is a complete maniac as well. So let's think about that as well. This guy is a complete maniac. He's a complete maniac. His stats here are, as you can see, a VPIP of 73 and a PFR of 68. So the guy's a complete maniac. I think, and not only that, his 3-bet percentage was 62%. So just to put this in perspective, right? I said his VPIP is 74%. And his 3-bet at this point was 63%, and that's 5 out of 8 hands. Oh, so what am I doing actually? So this is his range here. So when you get my Jack 10 offsuit, Jack of Hearts, 10 of Hearts. I mean, Jack of Hearts, 10 of Diamonds versus particular range. I am actually, my equity is slightly ahead of this crazy, insane range. So I think I just need to call this particular type of player who is 3-betting so wide. And I do get top pair with a medium-sized kicker here on the flop. So this is a spot here. Let's see. So he donks into me here. I mean, this is something I obviously I have to call. The guy is completely crazy. It's a bet I have to call here. I don't think there's really any way around it. Plus, my equity here is too good. Let's see, 10. And, he could be betting with really anything. It's going to be hard to put him on a hand. Yeah, my equity here is 61% versus, I'm sorry, 75% versus opening range. And a 6 comes out, and he bets again. And again, I have to call it. And I remember this hand because I actually posted about this hand in my study group. And he actually ended up shoving here. So my thought process was here, um, how at this point can I call this? So I did end up folding because I think, like, even as crazy as this guy is, I don't think he's crazy enough to just do a 3 barrel bluff like this. I mean, maybe he could. And actually, the suggestion in the group was that I should have actually snap called this here. Um, but I am happy I didn't because he ended up showing aces. So at this hand, I think I'm actually okay with how I played the hand. Let's just see from almost like a GTO perspective what Snowy thinks about this hand. Snowy's probably going to tell me to fold. I think Snowy's going to probably tell me to fold the 3-bet. Let's see. It's because Snowy doesn't know that this guy's crazy. But let's just take a look. I'm just curious. Yeah, Snowy says I should have definitely folded the Jack-10 offsuit. Yeah, it's just definitely a tough spot here. Just because of the fact he was such a crazy player. So if this hand happened in zone, this Jack-10 offsuit would definitely get folded here. But it was just because this guy was just such a nutbag. It agrees with my call, of course. It does not agree with the call on the turn. So it thinks I should definitely be folding this call on this bet on the turn. And it doesn't agree. Oddly enough, it doesn't agree with me folding the all in. So I think that's definitely interesting. That it says I should have definitely called the all in. I mean, folding was nothing. Like, it wasn't a minus EV folding. I guess it's never gonna be minus EV folding. Oh, I don't know. EV all in. So, but it says I should have folded on the turn. So folding on the turn actually really never even came. Like, I never even thought about folding on the turn. What kind of hands am I calling on the turn? Oh, I was able to use this yesterday. I don't know why it's not working today. Interesting. I guess I only had a couple of these in my program that I have. Oh well. All right, so that's interesting. I mean, ultimately, you could say that this particular hand, even versus a complete nutball, maybe I should have folded. But I mean, that's just it's kind of tough to fold this hand, to fold pre-flop versus a guy who is 3-betting so much. And this also was a terrible table for me to be at, and I eventually left the table because playing with a guy who's 3-betting so much, to the right of me, right, to the left of me, um, is not good. And when we talk about table selection, this is a spot that I really need to get off of when somebody's 3-betting this much. Even if he is a complete maniac and just a bad player in general, it's not a spot that I want to be in because a lot of my hands are going to get 3-bet, and I just really can't play my game. So it's kind of tough when on Ignition with anonymous tables where they just kind of throw you onto tables and you really can't table select. Which I think I'm embracing zone a little bit more at this point now. Okay. Here I have Queen 10. So here I just raise it up from the small blind. I think in the small blind I should be betting smaller. Maybe I just bet 2 big blinds instead of 3 big blinds. It can go either way. And again, a really tiny 3-bet here. This, by the way, is is on zone. So Queen 10 offsuit, like, normally would be a hand that I would just fold to a 3-bet, but with it being such a small 3-bet, it's like you almost feel obligated to have to call, even though you're going to be out of position, but at least to see a flop. So the flop gives me a gut shot here. Now I've taken a look at gut shots, and I just take a look at my database at gut shots, and it's so hard to hit a gut shot. I mean, you think about a gut shot, right? You got literally 4 outs to work with. 4 outs. So let me think about this hand for a minute. What's going to make this hand better for me? A queen, a 10. So we got 3 queens, 3 10s. So that's 6 cards plus 4 nines. So 10 outs. I have 10 outs to improve my hand, right? So that's not bad here for the turn. Let's see what happens first. I check. He bets. So his bet is a pot-sized bet. So now, do I really want to continue on a pot-sized bet here? Probably not. I mean, even though the odds say I can, let's look at some equity. Let's see, where are we going to go here? First, let me put in. Let's put in my opening range, because I'm going to stick with most of my opening range. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, my small blind range is huge. I don't have my stats for calling 3-bets, but let's just figure it out. My 3-bet opening range when I played here for a small blind looks like this. But let's just see what hands I would call with here. So usually I refer to the upswing. So small blind versus big blind. Let me just come up with a range here. Actually, I'm just going to do this in Equilab because I'd just be transferring over to Equilab anyway. Let me see what hands I would call with. I would just call and not 4-bet with here, and not fold, of course. So these suited kings here. I might actually call the king 8 suited here because, again, it's such a small bet. You'll notice, by the way, that Jack 10 offsuit is not here. For the sake of this example, I'll throw Jack 10 offsuit in there since it is what I did. It is what I did call. All right, so this is calling a 3-bet range here, and his range. His range would look something like this. He's 3-betting, so the 3-bet. The 3-bet here in this spot is 7% for the big blind. So I guess what I do here is I put 7, right? Yeah. So here's the range that we're looking at here from a 3-bet perspective from the big blind, a 7% range. So yeah. Now let's take a look at the flop. That's what I want to see here. 8 of hearts, 6 of hearts, 7 of spades. And I just want to see what my equity is here to his pot-sized bet. All right, so my equity here is not terrible at 41%. when it comes to my range. Now, the hand equity, let's take a look at, what are we here? Queen of diamonds, 10 of clubs. Queen of diamonds, 10 of clubs. His range. And we have 8 of hearts, 6 of hearts, 7 of spades. What happened to his range? Hello? What happened? Why is this not showing up? First of all, I have the wrong hand, 10 of clubs. I do not know why this is not working. I'll just put these in here. Alright, so here you go. This is the most important thing, I think, is that my equity here versus range with my particular hand is 24%. So this is a hand I definitely need to fold here. I'm not getting good pot odds to continue. Yeah, my range, I'm getting good pot odds to my range, but the particular hand I have, I'm really not. So the question is, what am I more worried about here? Am I more worried about the equity for my hand or the equity for my range? So my range is 41%. So my range says, okay, I can call this bet. But my hand says I should not call this bet. I think I should probably be folding it here, and I'm definitely going to throw this one in snowy too. And I did call it, so I definitely think this is a mistake to be calling this bet here. And now a 5 comes out, 5 of spades comes out. I check it. This time now he does check behind, which you know, makes it pretty interesting, the fact that he checked behind. I mean, let's look at his range again. When we think about hands that would have been betting here, what would have been betting here on the I mean, he could be betting with a lot of his range, you know, so I wouldn't think he would have, he could have been betting with like ace king even, you know, ace ace and king king. You know, unless he was concerned that I had a straight for some reason, I don't really think so. Maybe ace ace and king king would, you know, would check that turn, and then, you know, but that would bet and then check. I think ace king suited is definitely hands that he would have bet with. So I think he could have something like ace king suited, maybe even ace, you know, ace king or ace queen here. I think hands like ace jack and ace 10 would have checked. 7, 8, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. And I think hands king 10 might have bet, but I think he would. I think just knowing these players, I think these hands would have checked too, unless this one hand kind of like is going to c bet here. King queen. I don't think king queen would have bet. You know, all of these hands. I mean, obviously ace ace is not checking the turn. 9-9, I could see checking the turn, possibly. 10-10, I could see checking the turn. Queen queen and jack jack, I could even see checking the turn. And he doesn't really have any sixes or sevens, so I think this right here, this is the kind of hands that we could expect him to show up with here. And a 3 comes out, and a 3 just seems like kind of a brick for both of us as well. Whoa! What in God's name am I doing? What the hell am I doing? Yeah, so this is ridiculous. What am I doing? So this is something I told myself last night. Do not bluff at NL5, especially NL5 zone. Don't bluff, especially out of position. Okay, you want to bluff in position? You can kind of do that. Okay, I'm kind of okay with bluffing in position. But bluffing out of position like this is ludicrous, and it's just going to cost me money, and we know that's what happens here. It does cost me money. This is a stupid play. Stupid, 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 stupid. Yeah, ace-ace. So I'm kind of surprised that he checked back the ace-ace. But still, what am I doing? What am I doing? This is a great way to lose money. So let's look at this hand from the get-go. Okay. Borderline whether I should be calling that 3-bet or not. Fine. You want to say maybe I can call it because it's such a small bet? Fine. I'm going to be out of position, though. We've got to keep that in mind. I'm going to be out of position. So that brings down my equity. Calling a pot-sized bet here, not good. 30 big blinds on the river at NL5. Stupid. I'm sorry. I got to be mean to myself. That was so dumb. That was so dumb. That was so dumb. What can I tell you? Completely idiotic. Completely idiotic. Wow. Feel free to flame me on this one. Hang on. Jack 10, idiot. A Queen 10, idiot. Even worse. Queen 10, idiot. I'm going to call this file. You notice all these hands in beginner for a reason. Wow. Oh, what am I doing? So let's see. All right, so they agree with the call. I mean, it's such a small bet. You got to call it. But yeah. They're saying, what are you doing? Snowy's saying, what are you doing? Snowy Snowy actually likes my river bet. Snowy doesn't realize I'm playing at NL5, though. And Snowy doesn't know how the players are here. So I think, although Snowy says that this is the right play, I don't agree. Just knowing the player pool, I don't agree. You can't bluff out of position here. So I think it's terrible. If you think it's the right play, let me know. But I don't think it's the right play. What am I doing there? You know, we do got to keep in mind, you know, he did 3-bet. You know, I guess what I'm thinking is, oh my God, I screwed this hand up so much already by calling that flop bet. And I said, oh, well, I checked and he checked back. Now I can sell that I have a straight. Well, if I had a straight, right? Let's say I had 6, 7, 8. Let's say I had 10-9. 10-9 suited would call, right? 10-9 suited would definitely call the raise. Why would I check the turn? I would bet the turn. So if I want to bluff, which I don't recommend in this spot, at NL5 zone, I now know. I've told myself, stop bluffing. Let them bluff me. I'm going to let them bluff me. I'm going to call. I'm going to get them on their bluffs. What am I doing here? I don't bet the turn. What am I representing? Now a 3 comes out. What do I have? 6-4? Well, I can't have 6-4. What do I have a 4? could have a 4. I could have pocket 4s, but I mean, come on. Is pocket 4s really calling a pot-sized bet on the flop? Probably not. Probably not. But then again, Queen 10 is probably not calling a pot-sized bet on the flop either. So screw it up that way, screw it up the other way. The bottom line is here is I got to fold the pot-sized bet on the flop, and we get out of danger, and then I don't do this stupid crap on the river when I represented absolutely nothing on the turn because pocket 4s. Pocket 4s, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I would have bet anyway. The 3 does nothing. 3 does nothing. What am I doing? Fun times. Yeah, I'm just getting on myself, but I guess not bad to get on myself once in a while. Here we go. Ace 10, Ace 10 suited. We get a limp. Then we get a pre-flop raise from the cutoff. And this spot here, I am isolating with my Ace 10 suited. Well, I'm in the big blind here. Versus the cutoff. I could do either or. You know, I could do either or here. So I don't hate it. I don't hate it. If I'm gonna do it with any kind of hand, let me do it with Ace 10 suited. I don't hate it. But then you get this guy who calls. So that's the only danger here is a lot of times, sometimes you isolate, you don't knock out somebody. You still go multi-way, which I've seen some crazy stuff. And this is the case here. Now we got a huge pot going into pre-flop in a multi-way pot. It's just kind of a sucky situation. And I pair the board. So I'm going to say what I should do here. And I have a feeling I didn't do it. What the hell was I thinking? This was like 2 days ago. This is 2 days ago. I did. This is not like something I played like 3 months ago. This is 2 days ago. I'm getting mad at myself. I bet. So I have pot it, which is my standard multi-way pot bet, but I don't like it. I don't like it because I really feel like I should be checking here. My hand is a middling ace. Ace 10 is not great. I don't have any clubs on this board. Okay, so, you know, diamonds are going to probably come along. Not only that, okay, let's think about it. I 3-bet here. Well, this guy opened up the betting. So let's just say what their range could look like now that I've 3-bet them and made their range stronger. And I got to remember that when I do certain things, I'm making their range stronger. How? Because the crap that sucks, they're folding it most times. Most times they're folding it. So I don't even know if he folds here yet, but let's take a look. I just want to just take a look here, okay? Because by my 3-betting this hand, I've made his range stronger. And now by opening up the betting, if his hand is as strong as it is, he could have a better ace. He could have ace jack. He could have ace queen. He doesn't have ace king. Most times he doesn't have ace king. But ace jack, ace queen is beating me. Am I getting the fold here? Absolutely not. So let's see. I'm the big blind. He was the cutoff. So just to give a general idea of what we could be looking at like here from just a general calling range here is going to have ace queen suited and ace jack suited in it. It's going to have ace queen offsuit in it. So this is what I just want to kind of point out here is that it's going to have ace queen, ace jack, ace queen, and it's going to have hands like it's going to have a set of 5s in it. it's going to have a set of 7s in it. So these are hands now that are beating me. Hands that aren't beating me. Well, ace 10 suited is a chop. Ace 9 suited isn't beating me. Ace 8, ace 7. These are all hands I could call. These are hands that are not beating me. Right? Ace 7. Actually, no. Ace 7 is beating me. Ace 7 is beating me. Ace 5 is beating me. So these two hands are beating me too. Add those to the list of hands that are beating me. So it's a lot of hands I'm beating. So the purpose of this bet ultimately becomes, I just want to fold. I want to get these people to fold. Well, what if they don't fold? Then I'm kind of screwed. So why not check and call? Checking and calling makes more sense. Let me let one of these guys make a mistake. Instead of me making a mistake here, so I'm making the mistake. This is absolutely a spot I should not be betting in the multi-way pot. Completely out of position. Now, if I'm here, I think it's fine for me to bet. Okay, having position. But being here, I don't think it's the right bet. Ha! So all this analysis, okay, that's fine we have this analysis because who cares about what happened afterwards? I'm talking about specifically the situation. I should not be betting, I should be checking. This guy raises it. This guy's got a better hand than me. It's a lot of better hands here than ace 10. Flush draws, sets, 2 pairs. Lots of 2 pairs here. Ace 5, ace 7. Want to go crazy? Maybe 7-5 suited. It could happen. Especially from this guy who could really be calling with such a huge range. He's a fish, right? He's short stack. He limped. This guy could even have 7-5. So this guy raises. This guy calls. Please, for the love of God, tell me I folded here. Please, God, tell me I folded. Thank God I folded. And just for the fun of it, let's take a look. See what happened in the rest of the hand here. This guy was all in. 7-5. Hey, I said, did I not say he could actually have 7-5 here? Ace-Jack. You can't see me right now, but I literally just pointed at my screen and pointed at Ace-Jack. Because what did I say? Ace-Jack. I'm betting my Ace-10. This guy could have Ace-Jack. I've kept that hand in with the 3-bet. So Ace-10 is not that great. It's not that great. Whoa, I got an ace. No, it's not that great. Obviously, this guy here. So what would have happened in that hand? Maybe we end up with a situation where he bets and he raises. It's possible. Because maybe he's going to play the bad hand and I can get out of the way of this hand. Maybe this guy bets super large because he's like, I'm super excited because I have 2 pair. He ends up with a full house, of course. Look what it is. Board runs out. Yeah, now 7-5 offsuit again. I mean, we don't expect anybody to ever call a 3-bet with 7-5 offsuit. But that's, he's a recreational player. So there you go. Interesting. And again, what does it tell you here? The 3-bet is fine. The 3-bet, I'm not going to go crazy about the 3-bet. I think the 3-bet is okay. But, on the flop, I have to say to myself, if I bet here, what am I really accomplishing? What am I really accomplishing? Because is my hand really that great to be betting here? When really, in an L5 zone, I need to be betting for value. Betting for value. This is not betting for value. This is betting to try and get folds that I'm not going to get because, for the most part, in a 3-bet pot, there's probably a better hand out there than what I have. So I wasted more money. Look at all the big blinds. Just these few hands that I've shown. Look at all the big blinds that I've wasted in these bets. It's amazing. It's great, though. I love looking at this stuff. And the reason I like doing it on video is because I'm more harder on myself when I do it on video. When I am not doing it on video, I'm just clicking buttons, click, and it's really not digesting. When I do it like this, oh my God. This is crazy. Okay, so let's see the next one. I hope you guys are having fun watching this, if you are watching. said if you are watching. So we get a min bet from the button. So I think this is fine, I guess. Could I flat it here? Yeah. I think the king queen suited is a good card to 3-bet. So I think it's pretty standard just to 3-bet here versus the button. And we get a call. Okay. Queen, jack, jack. So I got a back to a flush draw. We have a pair of queens to pair. Let's look at ranges real quick here before we go into the action. Let me look first at the button, a standard button calling range versus a big blind 3-bet. So let's see hands that they might call with here. As opposed to 4-betting or folding or anything like that. And my 3-bet range here. What is this? This is big blind versus button. So my 3-bet range. Queen 10 suited was part of it actually. Will this work this time? Hey. So pre-flop. Okay, so now let's see. We have. I want to take a look at this one here. Jack diamond, Jack heart, Queen heart. All right. I mean, so this is great for my range. This is great for my range here. I'm out of position, though. That's the only negative part about it is I'm out of position. So let's just say hypothetically I take 10% off of my equity and make it 51% if I'm out of position here. Now let me just take a look at my hand versus his range. My hand versus his range here. I have king queen of diamonds and his range is this. And the board is Jack of diamonds, Jack of hearts, Queen of hearts. All right, so my equity's pretty good. My equity's pretty good here versus his particular range. The question becomes should I bet here or should I check here? Well, my equity is so good versus his range, and my hand is best so many times. What is he folding if I bet here? out of position. I think this is the problem with betting out of position is he's never going to bluff me. He's only going to call with his better hands, right? So he'll call even with a full house, three of a kind, and maybe some top pairs. Right? He's never calling with a flush draw, a gut shot, any of this stuff. He's never calling with this stuff. So here's the problem. If I bet into him here, this is the stuff that he's calling with. And as you can see, the equity of my hand goes down to 30% when I bet. So before betting, it's 71%. If I bet here, my equity drops all the way down to 30% if he decides to call me. So do you see bet here or do you don't see bet here? I think my hand is too strong to see bet. I think I'm better off checking and calling here. So let's see. I bet. So I bet, and now we've given him this range when he calls. Ha! He three bets. Well, he raises me. Well, when he raises me here, we know he's doing it with one of these hands. In fact, we could probably say he's not doing it with this. He still could be doing it with that. He could still be doing it with that. Ace Queen. You know, he is a short stack player, so he definitely can be doing it with a queen. So this is his range now. So I said, hey, Mr. Man, I'm going to give you these chips. And I know that when I bet these chips, you'll be happy to take them if you have better. And if you have worse, well, I'm not going to win anything off you anyway. So all I'm going to be doing here is probably losing chips here. Never really gaining chips. Because if you fold, I'm just getting what we already had. I'm not going to get any more. I'm never going to get value. I'm only going to lose when I bet into you here out of position. But if you're in position, you can bet into me, and I could call, and I could call better than you are betting into me sometimes. Here, you're always, most times, calling me with better. And I call. So I call because I'm like, well, I got the queen. Yeah, I can win this. Another queen comes out. I got a full house. Yeah, well, I only got 2 outs. I only have 2 outs here. So is that really the right play? Equity, 18%, 2 outs. 4%, 8%. No. Fold. Fold. Don't bet. And then fold. You get so much money here. Come on. 2 comes out. Huh. Like I needed the 2. I needed the 2 like a hole in the head because now this is going to make me feel like I can possibly get a flush. So now I check. Now I check. Why? First of all, the check is the right play. But I could have, why call if then I'm going to check? Now I'm finally going to check. Now I'm going to finally check. Why? Stupid. It's just dumb. Don't bet. Don't see bet here. It's that simple. Because all we did here was spew out more money, and we called it terrible. He bets 38 big blinds. Hope to God I fold here. Please fold. Thank God. Because he shoved. So, you see what we did? You see what we did here? It doesn't take a freaking mathematician or a genius to figure out that on that flop, there's no way. There's no way because I just kept in his better hands, and then he pushed me around. He shoved me off of a cliff. Wow. He bluffed me off a cliff. I can't worry about this. Look, still I can't worry about it because what happened here, okay? Think about what happened here. Let's say this is a great example. This is a perfect example of why the bet was so bad, okay? Because it's a great example of why the bet was so bad because I could have eventually gotten value out of this. I could have gotten value out of this. But instead, I put myself in such a tough spot that I had to fold. Okay, let's just think about this. Remember the fact that he has ace 6 of clubs, okay? If I check here, he bets, I call. Right? So I check, he bets, I call. Because it makes more sense now to definitely call a bet. Okay? A 2 comes out. I could check again. He could bet again. I could call again. At that point, now, I haven't made his range so freaking huge that I can bet and that he can bet and I can call. And then whatever happens in the river. And maybe then at that point, I win this hand by just calling it down. Instead of doing what I did. Betting out of position. He raises. Now I'm like, holy crap. He's got something awesome. Now he shoves. He has to have an ace queen. He has to have a jack. I'm so screwed in this hand. I got to get out of it. Instead of what could have happened if I just would have checked. All this happened because all this chaos happened because he checked, and I let him bluff me off of this thing. I let him do this. He didn't do this. He didn't do this. I let him do this. I let him bluff me. Terrible job. Terrible job. Are we having fun yet? How long has this video been? This video has been an hour and a half. But you know what? It's a great video. I think it's a great video. If you don't like it, whatever. Stop watching. Alright. We'll take a look at this one last hand. And then we'll call it a video. You know, I could look at my winning hands too, but I like to focus on the losing hands. I'll look at like one winning hand, 1 or 2 winning hands, and just take a quick look. We'll just skim through them quickly. Let's see. So I'm in the big blind with ace 5 suited, and we get a 3.4 big blind bet out of the cutoff. Oh yeah! Again, this is another situation where I could easily flat this situation. Flat this being in position. I mean, ace 5 suited is definitely a really good hand to 3-bet though. Let's see, versus the cutoff, big blind. No. Out of these ranges that I was using, I don't know. Big blind versus cutoff. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like these ranges. I stopped using them. I went back to the upswing ranges, but these ranges kind of, I don't know. I just didn't like them. I don't even know who the hell made them. Some freaking Spanish guy. No disrespect to any Spanish people, of course. Yeah, great. That's it. I just lost followers. Anyway, just some random guy. I don't even know who he was. So yeah, I don't like this 3-bet. Again, now I've kept in his worst hands, and he can't bluff me. So definitely don't like it. Oh God. Oh God. I want to throw my monitor right now. I'm not even playing, and I want to throw my monitor right now. I hate myself. I hate myself for this. Why am I calling a 4-bet here? Fold. You know, even this here. This is how bad this is. See that yellow color on ace five? Yellow stands for three bet, then fold to a four bet. So why in God's name did I call this bet? Yeah. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. Dumb. Oh man, this is great stuff, isn't it? This is good stuff. Come on, I know you guys like it. Let's take a look. What anything else interesting? Ace five. We look through a bunch of hands here. 9-8. Folded river. Let's just take a quick look, see what happened here. Min bet. I call it. All right, at least I didn't three bet here. Okay, top pair. Flush draw. Yeah, okay. Bets into me. Yeah, I think this is a spot I need to fold here. It's a tough spot actually. I mean, I got a middle pair and I got a flush draw. So I mean, I can improve to a full house with 2 8s. 2 plus 9, so it's 11. It's a little bit tight. It's a little bit tight. A pot size bet. I probably have to fold here. I probably really should fold here. I think I should really fold here. Ace comes out, you know. And what am I gonna do? I think I need to fold that turn. I think I need to fold that turn. What was he betting with? 4-4. Well, I don't know how to get out of the way on this one here. I mean, I guess I should probably fold the turn. I guess folding the turn is the right play anyway. Forget about the fact he had 4-4. Forget about the fact he had 4-4. I mean, again, on this board with an ace coming out, and he triple barrels me. I mean, can I really call it? Should I call it? I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question, actually. I'm gonna post this hand because I don't. I'm gonna post this hand in the study group because I really don't know. This is actually a good one. This actually is a good one. Because I'm not really sure what to do on this hand here. I'm gonna post this hand. See what kind of feedback I can get on it. Because I feel like to the pot size bet, I probably should fold here. And then to the half, but then to the half pot bet though, this is he wasn't all in, right? No, he gave me great odds to call. So the question then becomes, I mean, because I'm getting such great odds to call, should I call the bet here? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I'm gonna check that one out. I'm gonna post that in our forum. Hey, let's end this session on let's end this video on a good note. Let's see some hands I won. Let's see some hands I won. All right, we'll go through real quick. I'm not gonna take too much time on these. I think a couple of them all-ins. What happened here? I four bet the tens. Because I was gonna be out of position, I four bet the tens. He shoved me all in, and I decided to call because, just because maybe it's a bad call, but I decided to call the shove. Just because, shove does not mean queen plus. here at Ignition Zone. So I've seen people shove with crazier things. So I called it. And I did end up landing a set. So he had queen queen. I got kind of lucky on this one. I don't know. Maybe the shove, maybe calling the shove is not the right play. They you know, let me see. It's real quick. I mean, does Snowy think calling the shove is the right play or the wrong play? I'm curious to see if this was the right play or the wrong play. Wrong play. Well, actually, no. The raise they don't like the four bet. They don't like the four bet here. But the call was the right play. All right, they don't like the four bet. This was small blind versus big blind. I don't really have any. I don't really know. Your opponent showed quite a bit of strength, and you selected, and you had to select carefully to hand your bluff raising. Your currently hand has good call value, and bluffing doesn't increase the winning chances enough. You should just just have called. Okay, yeah, okay, that's fine. I can see the rationality of calling there. All right, let's take a look at this one. Jack, Jack. Multi-way pot. What happened? Five ways with my jacks. I didn't even bet it. Wow. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm going to continue calling here. Just hope he doesn't have a full house or something. So I think this we'll rather see here. Yeah, ace eight is just a good example on why, it wouldn't have been a good idea to raise here. I could have definitely raised the jacks here, but it was a good idea not to raise the jacks here. And I kept this ace eight in, and he just kept betting and betting and betting, and I took down a nice pot. See, it's not always bad. It's not always bad. Although those hands are really bad. Those hands are really bad. Let's see. Raise it. 3-bet. 4-bet. Did I shove? No. I shoved. Oh. We just won it because everybody folded. Nobody had anything. Hey, I got 10-10s to fold. 10-10 to fold. That's good. 10-10 folded. Yeah. I got 10-10 to fold. That's pretty cool. Last one, then I'm going to call the video here. A7. Get a 3-bet. And I flat it. So let's just see. Let's go back. I'm in the middle position. A7 suited. 3-bet by the big blind. Yeah, so really this hand here, I should actually really be folding this A7 here. So this really wasn't a good call. I should be folding or 4-betting this A7 here. A flat call, probably not the best call. You can make an argument for it because it's in position, but really I should really fold this A7. Let's see. We get bet into here. I have the flush draw. 30% pot odds. Don't love the fact that queens are out there. I call it. At least it wasn't a pot size bet. And I didn't raise it, thank God. This is just an exercise of hand reading. I remember this hand. So he checks and I check back. I'm not worried about a queen. And then the 2 comes out and I get my flush and I bet into him and he folds it. Yeah, I mean, just say the one complaint I have about this hand here is I don't like calling the raise. I could really fold the raise. Hang on. A7. Whoops. A7. Let's see. Yep. It's probably going to say the same thing I just said. Yeah, the call. Really, this should be a fold. So, I mean, all right, wonderful. I won the hand, but this really should have been a fold or a raise. Just like I had said, I'm either going to fold it or I'm going to raise it. I'm going to fold it sometimes. I'm going to raise it some of the time. Calling it is not the right play. Calling it is the worst play, minus EV. And the rest of the hand, the river. I don't know. I can't check back here. I got to try and get value. And you know the reason for this is I'm just not worried about a full house. And that was my point of betting here. Was the fact that I was not worried about a full house. I was not worried about the queens at all. Because I really feel like he wouldn't have checked. He wouldn't check turn and check river with a full house. So that's why I bet it for value. He didn't call it. So I don't really agree with what Snowy is saying here about checking. But then again, it does say that betting was plus EV2, so it's okay. So there you have it. This was definitely a very entertaining look at some pretty bad hands. Poorly played. But you know what? We keep learning. We keep working at our game, and we just get better and better. And we're going to take it down, mother effers. Thank you for watching. If you saw, please subscribe. And until next time, Pokedad.